Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever this podcast may find you. It is I, as always, Gavin.
And I, Justin.
And you might notice a delay there. That's because we are recording remote yet again. As of this, not as of this recording, but as of when you're listening to this recording, I will be in Flagstaff, Arizona at Overland Expo West. Their naming conventions are like, Andrew, I love you. You got to work on your namings, homie, because they have 4 shows a year, and 3 of them are west of the Mississippi, and they are called a certain type of West. But they're in 3 different states. We have West, which is in Flagstaff, Arizona. Okay, I guess maybe whatever. But then they have Pacific Northwest, and then they have Mountain West. So one of them's in Oregon, kind of near Bend, and the other one is, I believe, Loveland, Colorado. So, and then the other one is in Virginia. That's Overland Expo East. But anyways, I'm rambling because I haven't eaten dinner yet. But yeah, we talk about some things. We get into our YouTube data analytics a little bit. We talk about cars that we've driven and videos that haven't seen the light of day. We do a little bit of Audis and watches. We actually start off with watches. So, hey, Justin, have you got the time?
It is 7:04, and let's get into it.
Let's do it.
That is a satisfying click.
It really is. God bless you, Tudor.
So, Gavin's watch. That's a beautiful sound.
It's not mine, but
okay.
It belongs to my good friend Bruno, who works at OC Tanner, and I was supposed to give this back, I think, a week ago, and it hasn't happened yet. And I still, for anyone listening, well, actually, I won't say that. I won't say what watches I have. I don't want to be a target. But
No.
I have, as of this recording, I've written the article for the Tudor Black Bay 58. I have not taken photos, which is why an article isn't live yet. And I spent most of the day today kind of fucking around and like relaxing because this week has been hell week, and we're about to go into a big week. But I still need to get the Omega Seamaster No Time to Die article done. That not as importantly as the Fiesta ST article to accompany the video that dropped last week. So
I know. Which, as of the time of this recording, is dropping at 11 tomorrow. So crunch time has been enabled.
Yeah. No, from this last week, I'm kind of used to it. But just so that the people can listen, this is, I think you assumed that this might have been the crown that I was winding up like the movement. Mm-hmm. It's not. If a movement sounds like that, you have fucking problems. This is the bezel action.
Yes.
Here we go.
I love metallic clicks like that.
This is like beyond any other fucking bezel I've ever fucking used. It's the best watch ever. It's the greatest watch ever made, and that's not even my opinion. The owner of this, who owns many other things that you could add zeros to, also agrees. Funny enough. But yeah, watches. I've been really fucking spoiled, and I can't wait to say other things about other people's watches. So stay tuned for that.
So funny thing I wanted to bring up about that. So you're really into watches, and that's awesome. And I've even seen a couple of the ones that you've showed me that honestly I'd be pretty interested in, like your dad's U-boat. I love that. I think it's really cool.
You like the U-boat, and there's that other Meister Singer that you also liked as well.
Yeah, I've just it's one thing I'll probably get into when I have some more disposable cash is buy one of the really cool ones that I like. At the moment, my daily driver is an Apple Watch for no other reason other than I actually use it for its intended purpose. I know you can cringe.
Bro, you're cringe.
Okay, fine. Where I have it notification tuned to just give me the shit I need to see while I'm at work. To me,
and I totally understand. Like, your use case totally makes sense for an Apple Watch.
Most people's it's cringe. I agree. I would not have bought one had I not been like, that is what I need to simplify my life.
And it's not even that it's cringe. I just do that as a meme, as like a watch guy, because watch enthusiasts don't see Apple Watches as watches. We see them as appliances. Mm-hmm. Just like how a car guy sees something like a normal ass Toyota Corolla or a Prius. I
see my Apple Watch as an appliance.
Yeah, and you should, because that's exactly what it is. And, it will fall out of, out of updates, and it's not even fall out of fashion, but it will just become obsolete, and it'll be something to throw away in the bin.
So it's funny you mention that, because have you ever heard of the company called Misfit?
Yes, I have. Somewhat recently, actually.
So, Fossil, those of you who are in the watch world will also have heard of the name Fossil. Fossil bought Misfit and has owned it for about a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, funny enough, you also mentioned updates. This was kind of a little scandalous, which is why I wanted to bring it up, because it was interesting. With no warning whatsoever, as of 2 days ago, so that would have been Thursday, they completely dropped support for Misfit watches altogether, which means if you own one, you can no longer do things as simple as set the fucking time.
So I just need to look into Misfit again.
Because the problem is, which is similar to almost every single smartwatch, which is part of the problem with them, there's no way for them to operate unsmartly. For instance, with an Apple Watch, you have to have an iPhone to set it up, and it has to occasionally pair with it.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to just even look up Misfit. Okay. So under the Fossil group, I'm just Googling here live.
Mm-hmm.
So they have both not manual wind, but they have watches that are analog. There's this Atari one. This is on the Fossil Group's website.
Yeah.
But was the Misfit, the thing that you're talking about, is this a smartwatch?
It is. Yep, it is a smartwatch. So how it works, which is how a lot of the Android-based smartwatches work, is you install an app on your phone, that app syncs with the watch, and then that's how it gets all of its information, notifications, etc., etc. And they, without warning, just pulled the plug on the app, so the app is gone. So if you had it installed, technically you're still good for however long until you lose the app somehow. Mm-hmm. But to anybody else, there is now no way to, if you're a user that didn't previously have the app interface with the watch at all, so you can't set it up. And what's crazy is they still are for sale on Fossil's website. So they're actually still technically selling a product. If somebody were to buy it today, they'd get home, not be able to install the app to control that device, and not even be able to set the fucking time on a watch.
Hey, Justin.
Yes.
Remind me what the point of a watch is.
To see the time.
Yes.
Exactly. Extraordinarily shitty move. Not that I have any opinion on Fossil as a brand. It's just what the fuck?
I'm on Fossil's website right now, and I looked up Misfit, and there isn't anything in there.
So maybe it did finally get pulled down. Maybe the app just got pulled down before the sale of their last model. But
maybe.
Because yesterday it was still up.
But you could probably go into their outlets or something, like a Fossil outlet, like the one in Park City.
Yeah.
And find them.
So what a great advertisement for a good old mechanical watch, because that's bullshit right there, and that's a problem with anything tech related. Is just
So it's interesting because I jokingly call my watches dumb watches because they don't have an internet connection to them, which in this case that I'm about to mention is actually a bonus because this is a very niche thing, and also while explaining this, I will acknowledge that this might seem very la-di-da to people. But so every year, we haven't for the past few years just for scheduling reasons, but growing up, my mom and her family, they would go to this cottage, this cabin that's on Lake Michigan. It basically goes from forest, Midwest forest, straight into beach, and you don't see the other side. Feels like you're on the ocean kind of thing. Well, the internet there sucks. Not just their Wi-Fi. Their Wi-Fi is actually, I think, fine, but their just the Verizon's coverage in that in the cottage is just not very good. And so my phone was thinking that I was in a different time zone than I am. And so where that is in Michigan, and I went there growing up. I've been there a bunch. A lot of my youth was spent at Pentwater. So they are on East Coast time, and I think my phone kept on thinking that we were in Central. I think it was about an hour off, and I would look to see like where Maps thought I was, and it thought I was in Wisconsin. I think. Is it Wisconsin? Or Minnesota. So whatever's on the other side of the lake. I should fucking know this. I actually like looking at like maps and shit. Yeah, it's Wisconsin. So yeah. So my phone, if I had a smartwatch, I would have been fucked as far as like trying to find the time, but I brought like my mechanical dive watch that has, it's a mechanical automatic movement. So I intellectually, while we were on the plane, knew that we had to jump 2 hours, and I set my watch to that, and I kept on looking at my phone for time and kept getting like all mixed up about it. So, take that, Apple Watch.
I know.
It's super niche. It's super like specific, but like that is a situation though that like if I solely relied on a smartwatch, it probably wouldn't have worked.
Well, it's a niche situation, but it's not necessarily uncommon in the techosphere, because if you think about it, with how much technology is just in our lives everywhere, cars included, of course, like everything with tech is fantastic usually until the second it's not, and then it is done quite often. It is it seems seamless until the very second that something breaks the illusion of it working the way it should.
Yep.
And this is no different. I just look at this, and I look at a move like this by a company, which probably was just profit motivated. I mean, I had hardly ever heard of Misfit watches, so I'm sure they're just deciding to sink the ship, which is fine, unless you then are making a shit ton of e-waste, because now nobody can set the time on your goddamn watches. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, there's a difference between sunsetting a product and then just saying, yeah, no, we're a shitty company. We're not going to care about any of the customers we did have.
Yeah.
So, but that actually leads me into one other thing I have to shout out a company, which is Rode microphones.
Oh, yes.
So this is a funny little thing. We use these little mic packs. We've mentioned them before, but we had a small issue with their wireless receiver, and I mailed it in for a warranty claim. I actually ended up figuring out what the problem was. We were getting some interference, and I figured out there's actually a setting that would have removed that. Well, the package arrived back, and they didn't send me the old one, back. No, they sent me a brand new one in a pack.
And a mic pack.
And an extra mic pack without warning. I was not expecting that whatsoever. And so they basically gave us a $200 value for free as a warranty replacement instead of probably just because they're like, yeah, if there is a problem, we're going to have to diagnose it. So it's better for us to just send a new set of product and eat the cost than it is to sit here and make somebody wait for weeks on end to hear an answer and just say oh, we couldn't find anything wrong, and then mail the old product back.
Right.
That's the way you do customer service, because that's the good shit. That's
so we're going to have to probably do some testing, probably,
yes,
just to see if it works.
I've already done a little bit with this, and I've also looked up how to you can manually desync the receiver and then manually sync whichever packs you want to it, so you can actually change them out. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, I think it should work. We'll obviously have to test that, but from several videos I've seen, it seems pretty seamless. So
it's good. Thanks,
I'm
Rode.
excited. I know, seriously.
So that actually means that we, unlike the video that I did with Jaden and the C8 Corvette, and actually also unlike with Jaden and the Mark 8 GTI, which, spoiler alert, when does that go live? Is that at the end of end of June?
That would be a week from when you're hearing this. So you're hearing this on Monday, I believe it's going to be
Mark 8 GTI?
Yeah.
Mark 8 goes later.
I know, the 28th. So they'll be hearing this on the 22nd, and it'll go...
Oh, fuck, sorry. I'm all spun up.
Yep. So you'll be hearing this on Monday the 22nd, and our Mark 8 GTI review will go live on the 28th. Yesterday, the 21st, you would have seen the C8 Corvette.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, because... Okay, sorry. The idea that our weekly content has been so far in, the abstract and the future for me that... we are now there, and everything, sorry, my whole internal clock just got spun up because you've released your Saab piece, which
Yep.
I checked earlier today is about to hit 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do a live update for you.
949. I just picked it up myself.
Well, thanks for stealing my thunder, you bitch.
I know.
God, fuck you. Anyways, 949 views, which is impressive considering it's been out for. You want to steal my thunder again?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Oh, thank you. So courteous. Fuck you. 6 days and 7 hours, which is ranking number 3 for out of our top 10. So for a second, the Audi film for whatever reason will always be the top viewed video in whatever time span. Like as far as like even initial hit, like the Audi has just been the best for us and will continue to be the best until, fingers crossed, something beats it.
Yeah.
So it was right up there with it, though. And now, as of this point, the R32 film that we did with the Mark IV and Mark V R32s has just passed it. Just barely. But you've done that. I've done my Fiesta ST. So we've now done both of our cars, which is, I think, is fun.
Oh, agreed.
So, and then, yeah, then C8 Corvette with Jaden, where he won't be mic'd up, but the car's exhaust would, which I'll let you draw a conclusion of which you think is more important.
Ouch.
Come on, it's a C8 Corvette. I love you, Jaden. But yeah, when you have a C8 Corvette and you have an extra microphone, the exhaust gets it. Sorry. But yeah, that'd be cool going forward when we have like me and you and something. And we can also, so we can have me and you mic'd up and then have the exhaust, getting captured like properly, which would be good.
Well, yeah, and this, so not only does this enable us to do those 3 different audio sources at once, but also one of the reasons we didn't use that receiver pack was because of that weird interference issue, which even happened, I now recollect, it even happened at when we were filming NSXs, because that was the first time we tried to use it.
Yeah.
And it was like making that weird interference, which initially I thought was the camera, because cameras have pretty shitty mic amplifiers that can put a lot of interference.
Yeah.
But now that we've figured it out, it'll actually make us and our video editing quite a bit easier, because like us two going into a camera will just be straight synced, and then all we'll have to do is line up one clap from an exhaust mic and boom.
And hopefully they don't fall out of sync with each other, because that's also been a thing.
Yes, and I think that's just with the backup recordings in the packs. I don't think it's actually possible for that to happen nearly as easily going into a single transmission point. So hopefully that's the case, because if it is, awesome. And if it isn't, guess what? We'll be doing what we've done the entire time, which is using the backup memory on the packs. Like, this has honestly transformed some of our workflow, because then in the event we're able to use this receiver, we have a backup. No matter what. If shit fails, we got a backup. That's fantastic. And that was not the case when we did the Audi film.
That was definitely not the case. we had a Zoom H5 that is somewhere, I think, at your place, that just keeps eating and demolishing batteries. Somehow it would just keep dying. Thank God we had Bryce there to be like, yep, died again, like 30 seconds after hitting record.
Because otherwise we would not have had any idea.
We would have been fucked. We would have been straight fucked.
Yeah, because there's no indication to us. The only option at that point would have been to go to the shotgun mic, because we did have the shotgun mic on the 5D and at the Audi film, but like that would have been shitty echoey audio.
Oh, I would have just not used it. Period.
Straight up. Oh yeah. I would have been in the same thing. I would have like been, okay, give me 2 seconds to try something. After those 2 seconds, shit's fucked.
Yeah.
Because
which would have been a bummer, because we got this place at Utah Motorsports campus, and trying to like re-get that location like maybe would have been possible, but it would have definitely like I would have thought maybe soured a relationship with somebody. At least, if not soured, maybe that might be too strong of a word, but there would have been maybe some tension there.
Yeah, and the thing is, out of all the things we've had that have gone wrong over the years, from having to reshoot Death Cars to having to reshoot some of the Audi bits, multiple cancellations, minis, etc., 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 probably the thing that I'm glad that went right the most and we were able to pull it off was that UMC shot, because that is, Out of everything else, I think that is the one thing that there wasn't really a possibility of a redo.
Right.
Everything else, it's not good. You should avoid it at all cost, but there usually is a possibility of redoing it if necessary.
Right.
There
was that one time, and I'm gonna roast you a little bit. There was that time where we thought we had the track.
Yes.
And we didn't quite have the track, and it was the night before. And this is when I was drinking a lot more, and so I was just relaxed and chilling. And you call me in tears, saying, "Gavin, I lost the track."
Yeah, basically, we had 2 delays back to back. The owner of the R8, our good friend Gervinder,
he lost his oil pan.
He got COVID first, so that delayed it first.
That's right. Yeah.
And then basically at the exact tail end of his 2-week quarantine, where we had scheduled to go back out and do the track, he lost his oil pan. So then we had to delay it a little further. But in the process of that, I had told our contact at the track, hey, we need to cancel that. We'll have to push it another week or two because we needed to find another R8.
And we were still in 2020, by the way. So this is before vaccines had come out. I still think that we kind of rolled the dice in going forward with the film to begin with.
Yeah.
We did take precautions. I believe we had masks present at UMC.
We did.
And people were spread out. And, you were disinfecting cars all the time, like when it came to doing like the in-car days, and we'd take reviews or do reviews, which who knows, maybe COVID helped with that, because we, with the exception of the R8, we never had an owner there with us. We would just have a handoff, which is kind of crazy to think about now.
Yeah, because prior to that wasn't the case. But when we got the second R8 and got that all lined up, which was a miracle in and of itself because it was all based off of a Facebook post, I forgot to circle back around with our track contact and say, hey, are we good? So there was just an assumption that we had pushed it out sometime, but never a definitive that, we need it for this Saturday. Mm-hmm. And then it was the night before, or it would have been Sunday, actually, because we had to arrange to have staff there to let us in on a Sunday. So, it was Saturday night when Gavin was recounting that story that I texted our contact and said, hey, are we still good for tomorrow? And
they were like, what do you mean?
And I instantly was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I looked back at the conversation and realized that I hadn't actually followed back up with a date. Oh.
Yeah. And then, it didn't send me into a frenzy at all, but I started basically kind of scrambling to still make the next day work. So I reached out to a contact of mine who had done, media at UMC. He no longer works there because he kind of got fed up with, the situation at the track and ownership and plans and all that stuff. And he was retirement age anyway, so he was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I reached out to him. I was like, hey, is there anyone that you would know that would be able to make this happen? We've been in contact with this person. And is there any way? And so he forwarded me someone else's contact, and they got back to me I think way later, I think.
It was a bit, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really anything useful, and so, but luckily we were still able to, through the graces of the owner of the RS4, was able to get us on track. Not on track. I still really want to do a track day video.
Oh yeah.
I want to see if we can maybe have a 2 or 3 car day where oh boy. Well, the RS4 on track would actually be a lot of fun. I know that car has been on track, so it would be interesting to see if they would be down for that.
Yeah.
And your Saab on track, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then I think I had a good idea for a third one recently. It's left me.
I'm not sure. But to round that story out, all that happened at that point was we were able to, fortunately, by the grace of whatever God may be, schedule for the next weekend. And that amazingly actually worked. Because it was a fear in my brain that I might have just lost everything.
And we had already put about, at that time, 5 or so months into this project. And that would have been yet another project that we put in work to then never see the light of day. There's the GT3s that we did. We did 997.2 and 991.1 together that never saw the light of day. I feel like there were others.
Technically the TTRS video.
TTRS. Yep, that was a video that we started to shoot, and we needed to get in car because we weren't able to. Well, we got rained out, and then we went back onto the island, and weren't able to get everything we got. And the owner decided that they didn't want us driving their car. Not sure why.
Yeah.
We never acted, off color or really did anything that they didn't co-sign with. So I don't know. Is there anything else? I feel like there's like 3 or 4 videos for some reason.
I know the Lotus video did see the light of day, correct?
Yeah. How unfamiliar are you with our content, Justin?
No, I know. I'm going through my brain, racking the ones that I know of.
Yeah. So we did Lotus, but we did not do it properly, and I do want to do another Lotus and do it properly.
Oh, there's the multiple failed Rossian attempts.
There's that. Yeah.
The Model 3. You drove the Model 3. And
I did drive the Model 3, and this guy I know from film school who helped out with the Lotus video that looking back at it is kind of cringe. In the moment, I thought the edit was hilarious, but it's definitely cringe at this point, being 5 years ago. Yeah. So Jared was driving his car, like some Ford Escape thing, and we were pulling into the parking lot at East Canyon, like at the foot of East Canyon, on the Salt Lake side. Yeah. And I think he got confused about whether we should pull in that way. It was at the toll gate, and he backed up into the Model 3 that I was driving. Did you know this?
I recall it, yes.
Yeah, so I was stopped, we were in line behind Jared, and the owner of the car, who's a sweet dude, he's had a few Model 3s, but I know him from Porsches. He supplied a 996 Carrera that basically had a GT3 body kit and GT3 suspension, but it was on a 996 Carrera that he took to autocross. And so that car was in the Everyday Driver film, 50 years of 911. He's had 996 Turbo that I've done photos with. He has an R8 V10 Spider automatic now, which would actually be really cool to get on camera. Haven't really driven a V8 or sorry, a V10 R8, so that would be cool. But yeah, I kind of forgot about that until you brought up Model 3. I'm like, oh yeah, because then Jared cracked the front bumper, and we proceeded to take photos, and we got some decent photos. The lighting that day was ass because it was during a period where Salt Lake County and Utah County had crazy fucking fires. So we were in this big smoke bowl, and it was June or July, I think. And so the lighting was just really harsh, and it was a silver car, which might have worked. This is also 5 years younger Gavin, so I've learned more and more of how to shoot cars since then. And so it was just kind of a shit show.
Well, yeah, and looking at it, it looks like there was probably about, over the course of 2019 and 2020, probably about, 18 and 19 and early 20. There was probably about 6 or 7 projects that were just start, dead end, and just kept dropping
I'm trying to think what else.
There was just a bunch of little ones, the 2 Rossians. I know there's a bunch that we never even got to actually filming that we talked about. That for one reason or another.
Yeah. I mean, there are dead ideas happen all the time, but I mean, the fact that we pulled off Audis, the fact that you're so passionate about that motor, and the passion that you were able to convey, I think really helped with the video. And it was easy for me to be stoked to drive an RS4 and an R8 with a manual and the RS5.
Yeah.
Especially seeing as I knew the RS5 for a number of years, and there's the first time really driving it. It's okay, this is fucking sick. This is cool.
Oh yeah, and that really launched us into where we were today. It's interesting to look back and think if the Audi video wouldn't have happened, what would have happened?
Nothing.
Nothing. It would have been very different.
Simple answer, nothing. We would still have 300 subscribers, and we'd be slaving away at bullshit.
That was kind of our make or break, I think. And fortunately, well, I wouldn't say we've anywhere come close to made it yet. We're still on the way to making it.
I mean, we're monetized and we're getting, I mean, this is literally nothing for a lot of channels, but getting 1,000 views on just some old sob in the first week,
It's pretty big for us.
Yeah, for sure. And for someone, yeah, that's all I'll say. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with how that did. So thank you to all those that have watched. I really genuinely appreciate that. Not just because it's my car, but that this is the first of a set of videos that's now coming out that hopefully Gavin's Fiesta does just as well. And if it does, great.
I'm going to laugh so fucking hard if it flops, because that will really solidify the fact of I should just not come up with videos for cars, period. Because the things that do well are things that I don't like. So, R30, I like the Mark IV R32, but, R32s, big Audis.
Yep.
What else? What else is done well?
I mean, NSXs, but we both like those. That's done. It's
but that didn't flop, though.
Well, no, you asked what is done well.
Oh, yeah. True.
So that has done well.
It's done okay, yeah.
That is probably the one that are things you do like that has done quite well.
And then the things that I do like, being anything Porsche related, so 996 versus 996 Turbo versus 992 flopped. And then also the Death Cars video with the Rossi on Q1, and then also a backdate 911 with the 930 turbo motor and gearbox. That's still in the triple digits, which is funny to think that your Saab video is doing better than that.
It's funny to think that my Saab video in 1 week eclipsed what that video has done in 7 months. Actually,
6.
Yeah,
it says 6.
Yeah, so it's been interesting to say the least. But if we keep doing these, the cool thing is we can have other ideas and do different things with this style of format and try to keep it interesting. And hopefully it'll help the rising tide raise all boats and maybe help drive a little more traffic to some of our projects that haven't done as well. Because it is humbling where we even get a comment on our Saab video this week where somebody's like, oh my God, I still can't believe that you guys aren't as big as you are or bigger than you are, and your quality and production quality is off the charts on a video where we settled.
Yeah, we did settle. Kind of. I mean, we can go lower. I can go lower if you want.
Well, me saying we settled means compared to our large projects, obviously there's not as much time. We're trying to pump these out. So we tried to inject a little bit of that quality into a shorter format, and I think from that comment and all the other comments, we did a damn good job of it, and I hope that we should be able to keep that up, because if you look at a lot of the short form content, a lot of it does kind of end up missing some of those little extras, like flybys, like follow footage, because that's the shit that takes time.
It is. It takes less time when, the camera that's involved just requires you to hit go. Yeah. As long as you line everything up properly, say for rolling shots, using 2 GoPros on a car that has all the hatches and windows closed, as opposed to a DSLR, that we need X amount of opposite lane time for the camera car. But the thing is with the GoPros, with everything shut and you don't have a human being in the back, you can just pop on over and pop on back.
Yeah.
Whereas with a grumpy cameraman in the back with the hatch popped and a tripod that's trying to track and follow a car and it's one camera, not 2. There's a lot more involved, and we have to be more picky and be higher maintenance with that. So the fact that we can just put 2 GoPros on, and sure, there isn't any real dynamic camera movement or vehicle movement really compared to what would be with our normal setup with the bigger films, then okay, that's the concession that we make, and we still have follow footage that we might have some a lot of the same lane traffic, but then have some opposite lane opposite lane shots that we can just capture like the side of the car, so it's at least some other kind of shot.
Yeah.
I think it's it's a good thing, and if we can move forward with that, for more of this like weekly seasons, I guess is the real way to put it. Then I think it'll be good for us. We have passed the 30-minute mark, sir.
Yes, sir, we have. So
we were gonna be topical this week, but we also realized that this episode that we are recording right now is actually happening like 2 weeks ahead or a week ahead of like when we're actually recording this. So I feel like it's probably not a great idea to be topical now because anything can happen. So we might get topical when we get back, or when I get back and we get together.
I mean, hell, by the time you get back, so the next podcast after this one, for those of you listening, which would be the 29th on Monday, we'll actually have some legit data to look at how all 4 of these videos have done.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want to be, just talking about our analytics for all of our podcast episodes. I think it's interesting to do every now and then. But yeah, I mean, at least for our discussions, for me and you, just our inside baseball shit, I think it will be interesting.
Agreed.
So okie dokie. Well, we'll let you people go, but thank you for listening to the last 35 or so minutes of this podcast. I keep on saying this, and I need to do this at the beginning of the podcast, but on top of the articles that we have, and on top of like the podcast links and all this other stuff, we have merch to buy. We still have shirts, and we still have hats, and we still have stickers, and hoodies can be made given about a week of lead time. So we're going into summer, but I mean, bonfires and shit happen, and it might get cold at night, and you want to be repping your favorite small-time Utah-based automotive content creator. So you can go buy one of those at www.exhibitionistspeed.com. I was about to say EOS.com, which would have been clutch, honestly, but probably didn't exist for us. I am rambling because I haven't really eaten today. So I think I'm going to change that. And I'm going to get some some articles written when my brain decides to start working again. So until next time, I've been Gavin.
And I've been Justin.
And this has been the Exhibition of Speed podcast. Goodbye.